How to build business credit. How do we build business credit, right? We hear about it all the time. There's a former president who's made his career out of leveraging his business credit over and over and over to the tune of billions of dollars and protecting his personal credit while taking the biggest risk with his business credit and being unscathed even if the business goes bankrupt. Sometimes paying himself millions of dollars from the business, which he used loans and business credit to basically enrich himself further. So you all know who I'm talking about, but can the average person leverage their wealth with business credit? Absolutely. Absolutely, the average person can leverage their wealth with business credit, and I can tell you the top ways. Number one, you want to have strong personal credit, so that can kind of be maybe disappointing for some people, but they should look at it as more motivation to get their personal credit, work with someone. I can give you a referral who can get your personal credit properly restored. Now that could be a process of a couple months to a year, but it might just involve you basically looking about at what's on your credit report, disputing what you can dispute, and negotiating to pay the minimum on the ones that will not be dropped off, the bad debts that won't be removed, just negotiating to pay the minimum on those and paying them as you can, getting the money to pay them off. So that's pretty much how I restored my credit after I took some business risk earlier in my life and I failed at it basically. So I had to build my credit back up. I remember getting car note threats and mortgage on my condo threat and all that. So now it's much different, but your personal credit, you want to build that. Once you get the delinquent accounts canceled with a dispute, or you get it canceled by paying off a minimum, then you get a secured card and use that responsibly. If you can use 10% of the limit and pay it off every month or less, then that's pretty much the best. But what I would say is from the secured card, you start getting unsecured cards and you keep using them responsibly. You also can look at personal loans and paying them back and getting different kinds of credit and paying the companies back even more than the minimum payment. The more you can pay them and the quicker you can pay them, pretty much. It's like if someone owes you money, you will want them to pay you back more than the minimum payment and also faster than the last day it's due. So if you do that, then the credit systems reward you with a better credit, basically. Then for business credit, you have to have, the bigger your revenues are, the higher your revenues are, the more business credit you can usually get. So that brings us back to the former guy, right? How his former lawyer is basically saying, hey, when he wanted to get business loans, he would say his businesses are worth all this. But when he wanted to pay taxes, and when he had to pay taxes, he would say his businesses are worth this. So why would he do that? The companies, financial institutions, a lot of times look at how much money you have going through your business bank accounts, what your revenues are. Some people even establish multiple LLCs and businesses and then just transfer some of the profits from usually the cash cow through the other companies, even as consulting or service or some licensing, and that builds up the revenue for that entity. Those three entities will say the cash cow that actually is the company that makes everything usually will spin off and say, oh, this little part is licensed to do this little management, or that this little part of the service or the product is licensed to this company. Usually builds the revenue and the financial records of those individual companies. Now, imagine there's a program like a PPP or EIDL or some type of, we'll start with the grants and stuff you don't have to pay back, like a PPP, a forgivable loan. You'll end up with more entities that have more income, revenue going through them, and you'll be eligible basically for more free money in the form of grants and loans, etc. So basically, the more revenue you have and amongst the more companies, the more business credit you'll have access to. So think about if it makes sense. Like you're an accountant, a CPA, but you want to look into ebooks and digital products. Your service brand, your original LLC, your digital products brand, your ebooks, your courses, etc., can be through your new LLC. So that's just one example, but if you are a beautician, maybe you create your normal LLC is a brand that does a service, braiding the hair or whatever, and then when you sell certain different products, the wigs or whatever, you can actually process them through another LLC, and you can build revenue through there. And sometimes some people just pay you through your main company, and you'll say, okay, well, I'll buy it from my other company. And like I said, that builds a financial records, bank statements. Revenue history is really where credit starts when we're talking about the entry level business credit. If you don't have business credit, which is why you might watch a video that talks about business credit tips, then you want to know, get out there, make money, and put it through different companies if you can, and you'll have more opportunity to have more business credit. And then, with the strong personal credit and with the strong revenue coming through the business entity, and you want to also, so now you need your taxes. So strong personal credit, strong business revenue. It could be all through the same business. That's perfectly fine. If you want to take to the next level, you can open up an additional business bank account, another LLC. Also, a business credit, you need a DUNS number, and for government contracts, you also need a DUNS number. So with the tips, we're talking about strong personal credit, business revenue, DUNS number, and you need, of course, a business entity and a business bank account, and you need taxes, and you need your taxes prepared. If you want to have a lower tax bill, then you just need to have a lot of expenses, credits, and deductions. You need an expert who knows about them to put them through. And you can have a lower tax bill. And maybe if you were running a payroll for yourself as an S Corp owner, maybe, then you can possibly even get a refund. But you can have a lower tax bill, and on top of that, you can have eligibility for a lot of business credit. It brings us back to Trump. He's infamous or famous or whatever for not paying much in tax, but he's also famous for having wealth and a lot of money. So the average, how does he do that? It just came out that his DC hotel lost $70 million. It's interesting. He will set up these businesses that most of them lost a lot of money, but he doesn't lose money from how it's set up. So people do that. He can do that with a lot of bank loans. He gets a lot of bank loans. So the money that's put up for the business, he gets a bank loan, which brings us back to business credit, right? In order to get a bank loan, you have to have sometimes you do need to start with a personal guarantee of your bank loan to build like an initial track record with that bank. A big tip, let's see, if this video gets to like 10,000 views, business credit tips from a CPA. Strong personal credit, because you'll need to back your first business credit card with a personal credit. And then you want to have your bookkeeping and taxes in order, of course. You want to have your business bank account with a lot of revenue going through, as much as money as you can have going through a business bank account you want to have. You don't need multiple businesses, but if you want to leverage yourself more, you can have multiple businesses, because there are some benefits that are per business. And more businesses you have, more opportunities you have at those benefits. You want to have tax returns, and your tax returns in order. If you have an S Corp, then you need an 1120S tax return. You need a proper tax return to get business loans. Usually they want to make sure everything is in order and look at as much official documents. You'll need financial statements, which is the bookkeeping that I said earlier. So we help our clients who retain SWM, is basically their accounting department, their part-time CFO, who they don't have to put on the payroll, officially, but they hire us as a independent contractor, and I help them build their business credit and have the financial statements and the taxes ready and have their bank statements and everything in order, so we can apply quickly and you can get your applications in early for grants and earlier than the norm for forgivable loans like the PPP, and registered and applications for EIDL. And there are a lot of different benefits. This is capitalism. We know the game, right? It's not nice, it's not pretty. You can't beat them. Join them, start a business, get your own business capital, but you need to know from someone who's got business capital for his own businesses and also who's got business capital for many other businesses. So you want to get all that you can get, partner with a licensed CPA. My name's EB. I'm with SWM Planning, Smart with Money Planning. Smart with Money CPA is my brand, all right? I'd be happy to help you.